Stay where you are.
Stay where you are.
Hands. Show me
Stay where you
your
are. Show
hands.
your hands. You here?
Ginny.
Yep.
Ginny.
Oh. The time is 12:12. You're under arrest on suspicion of murder against Jonathan McCulloch and Lars McCulloch.
Yeah,
Okay?
okay.
You don't have to say anything, but it may harm defence. If you do
No,
not
I just
mention
take my cough
when
out.
questioned, so much like report anything you do so for the evidence. Okay? Alright, your arrest
I'll
is necessary
cooperate, I'll
for a prompt
cooperate.
and effective.
Is there anything in the pot that we should know about?
Yes, there
Where?
is. Can I take you to it?
No, you can tell me.
Can we go in there for a second, just so I can tell you something about what's in there?
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah,
Just tell us
the only
something
reason
about
I
what's in
said
there.
I need to tell you something about what's upstairs on the top floor as well.
It's fine. We'll
Yeah,
go.
okay.
It's a bit more quieter.
Is it your hand?
Yeah,
Yes, mind your feet. So obviously
Yeah.
we put
Honestly,
that
I'm not that dangerous.
No, it's fine.
I know, but obviously I've got to be careful. My dad's body's in there.
On the 19th of June 2019, Virginia McCulloch poisoned her 70-year-old father, John McCulloch, a retired business studies lecturer, with prescription medication that she crushed and put into his drinks. She then hid his body in a makeshift tomb, covering it with blankets and paintings. A day later, on the 20th of June 2019, she beat her 71-year-old mother, Lois McCulloch, with a hammer and fatally stabbed her. Virginia stashed her mother's body behind sleeping bags and duvets in an upstairs wardrobe. Conveniently for her, the country was about to enter enforced lockdowns due to COVID-19, which allowed Virginia to easily conceal their bodies within the home at Pump Hill in Great Baddow. Over the next 4 years, she continued to live at the address, telling lie after lie to cover her tracks and avoid raising suspicion. In 2023, however, her lies eventually caught up with her. Virginia McCulloch was arrested and charged with her parents' murder. Before the murders, Virginia had been living rent-free, taking advantage of her parents' generosity. In their minds, she was working hard to become an artist, but in reality, she was deep in debt, accruing large charges on her parents' credit cards. She even forged letters to trick them into thinking they had lost money through scams, when, in fact, she was the one taking their money. After cruelly murdering her parents, Virginia continued to accumulate large debts on their credit cards and spent their pensions. Over the next 4 years, she lived in the home with her parents' bodies hidden away, spending a total of almost £150,000. She canceled family arrangements and meetups, frequently telling doctors and relatives that her parents were unwell, on holiday, or away on lengthy trips. Virginia made 185 calls to the GP surgery, including calls where she pretended to be her mother. The COVID-19 lockdowns made it easier for her to keep the bodies hidden. Virginia sent texts using her mother's phone to her siblings and even sent gift cards in Lois' name. One day, a man named Alan Thompson, who had rented a television to the couple, became involved. When Virginia abruptly canceled the rental on her parents' behalf, Alan's staff arrived to pick up the TV. Virginia, however, told them they could not enter the property, stating the television was already prepared by the front door. On another occasion, Phil Sargent, who had lived next door to the McCullochs for 20 years, noted, "The curtains were always drawn, and you couldn't see if anybody was in the house. They were just like shadows, moving very quickly from A to B." Mr. Sargent later learned the true reason for the secrecy in the house on Pump Hill in Great Baddow. "I find it quite difficult even to say that Virginia murdered or killed her parents," he added. "She'd come across as quite pleasant. She was funny. She was irreverent as well. She had a dark sense of humor." Paul Hastings, a veggie seller near their home, grew concerned when Lois and John stopped coming to his store. Virginia told him that her parents no longer lived in the area. Members of the community also noted that Virginia acted strangely during those 4 years, often visiting a shop 4 times a day before disappearing for the next 2 weeks. She even pretended to be pregnant, creating a fake bump under her clothing. Concerns for Lois and John's welfare were finally raised in September 2023 by their general practitioner. The GP noted that John had failed to collect his medication and attend scheduled appointments for some time. The GP informed Essex County Council's safeguarding team, which referred the matter to the police. A missing person investigation was launched, and Virginia lied, claiming her parents were traveling and would return in October 2023. However, officers became suspicious, and the case was soon escalated to a murder inquiry. On the 15th of September 2023, Essex police rammed through the back door of the property on Pump Hill and found 36-year-old Virginia McCullough. She was immediately placed in handcuffs but cooperated fully. Virginia led the officers to the kitchen, where she told them exactly where her parents were hidden and how she had poisoned her father.
My dad's body's in there.
Right, okay.
Yep, okay. Obviously I'll
What about
say,
your mum?
a little bit more complicated.
Okay.
That's why I said, can I go upstairs and show you?
Right, can you explain it to us, please? Because we're trying to preserve this. It's now going to be a scene, so we need to preserve this the best we can. So I don't want you to have you walking up there, all right? That's for your well-being as well as ours.
Oh, no, up.
Okay. So where will we find your mum? Where will we find your mum?
Okay, so upstairs there are about 5 wardrobes.
Yep.
It's behind the bed, at the back, next to the sink. That's the second one. I slipped 5 of those into his drink. There were about 2 or 3 drinks that I brought downstairs. And yeah, they were basically, he didn't drink all of them. He only drank probably about half of 2. But yeah, when I went in the morning, this was before my mother, when I went in the morning, early hours, I got up about half an hour early, about 6 o'clock in the morning, came in and he was gone.
After giving a full account of what had happened, Virginia signed a statement confirming its truth. She even joked with the police, saying she wasn't 100% evil. Virginia then revealed where her parents' bank card was, admitting she had spent much of their money over the past few years. Virginia was taken to the police station, where she told them about a kitchen knife, which she referred to as the murder weapon, and a hammer that still had blood on it. On the 4th of June 2024, at Chelmsford Crown Court, Virginia McCullough admitted to 2 counts of murder. She was remanded in custody ahead of sentencing. Prosecutors applied for a life sentence without the possibility of parole, arguing that these were premeditated killings. They stated, "These were clearly premeditated killings. There was a plan B if plan A didn't work. This is a case of exceptionally high seriousness." They added that Virginia gave her father a cocktail of prescription drugs, which she crushed into alcoholic drinks, and left him to die in his bedroom. She sedated her mother with a less potent cocktail before fatally attacking her the next morning, donning gloves, striking her with a hammer, and stabbing her 8 times. Throughout her sentencing, Virginia stared at the floor, showing no emotion. However, she began to cry when the court replayed her original police interview, during which she admitted, "She looked so innocent, just sitting there listening to the radio. I went in 3 times to build up the courage, but I knew I had to get it done. I couldn't hesitate. She was just staring at me in disbelief." Virginia added that afterward, she held her mother's hand and apologized. The court heard that Virginia had run up large debts on her parents' credit cards and spent their pensions after their deaths. A total of £135,998 came from their pensions, with a further £7,800 charged to their credit cards. Virginia lied about having a job, convincing her parents she was not being paid for it. Her siblings described her as socially awkward and a compulsive liar. Defense attorney Christine Agnew KC told the court that Virginia understood she must be punished for her actions. On the 11th of October 2024, during sentencing, Virginia was emotionless as Judge Christopher Morgan stated that the offenses involved a substantial degree of premeditation and planning. He further noted that Virginia spun and maintained an elaborate, extensive, and enduring web of deceit over more than 4 years. Deputy Superintendent Rob Kirby gave a statement on behalf of Essex Police following the sentencing.
Good afternoon. Virginia McCullough murdered her parents in cold blood. Her actions were considered meticulous and carried out in such a way as to conceal what she had done for as long as possible. These were the actions of someone who had taken time to plan and carry out the murder of her parents in the interests of self-preservation and personal gain, before living within metres of the bodies of her 2 victims for a number of years. Throughout the course of our investigation, we have built a picture of the vast levels of deceit, betrayal and fraud that she was engaged in, it was on a shocking and monumental scale. McCulloch lied about almost every aspect of her life, maintaining a charade to deceive everyone close to her and clearly taking advantage of her parents' goodwill. She is an intelligent manipulator who chose to kill her parents callously without a thought for them or those who continue to suffer as a result of their loss. The details of this case shock and horrify even the most experienced of murder detectives, let alone members of the public. It therefore follows that the wider family of John and Lois understandably could never have guessed or anticipated that McCulloch would be capable of undertaking these murders before committing herself to this level of deceit. They have been left utterly devastated by the circumstances of this case, and they continue to feel the loss of John and Lois each and every day. This process, from the finding of John and Lois's remains to the unravelling of McCulloch's web of lies, has taken a huge toll on the wider family network. With this sentence, and with all that we have uncovered throughout our investigation, we hope they can now start to find a way forward with their lives. The family have continued to struggle with the intense media interest in this case, and I would repeat in the strongest possible terms their wish for their privacy to be respected as they continue to grieve their loss. Thank you.